recording. All right. VOD review for the boys. Loud. Infinity loud. So we're discussing Village and what we should be running on Village. Oh, okay, yeah. So normally I run. This is fine. This comp on fucking Village. I think that's okay. I normally run like a bit of hit scan on other maps though but fucking Flash mentioned this with us before. He was saying if you're gonna run Reaper, you're gonna play Reaper with the team, not sort of flanking. Yeah, because he was quite aggressive with Reaper. Well, that's just Infinity in general, I guess. We didn't push forward, which is great because we half walled in. They backed out. We didn't go forward, which is great. We just took point and then set up. Splash calls for a rotation when we don't need to. Now, who's there? Yeah, that's not what we want. That's Infinity as Reaper. Yeah. So I'd rather him like playing around us, even though he's not doing anything until they come closer, because right now we're only making use of our long range heroes and we don't want to lose our Reaper early before they get close to us. We want to make it so that like they use up all their resources, like shield management, they get lots of health taken from them, and then they approach us. And then Reaper finishes them off. Not Reaper annoys them from behind and then they die somewhere here because we don't have enough long range damage to make this work, this battle. We've only got Orisa shooting and then like Mei shooting, a bit of Hana, but they've got this big fucking shield, so they'll win that. Yeah, unlucky with the shield. So like they're running Holt Hookins here and is like super bad against what you're running, which is great. Because in every way, like Sigma counters that. Running Roadhog into this meta is just not doable. So with like Infinity up ahead in front, he's getting like some lucky breaks, but he's risking it all to do it. I mean, he doesn't really have to be at the moment. Apollo's get the kills, and then you call for a retreat because you know that we're not fighting there, we're fighting on the point. Because if we fight in the choke and we lose the fight, then they just take point quickly rather than like staggering us and we get extra point. Fat anti. Flying horsey. Yeah, Infinity dies by risking himself earlier. He could have just been patient, that's all. It's a good square. Let's cleave the whole point in half. At this point, you should be thinking ults. What ults they've got, because they just threw ice. They just threw Mei's ice down. You need to back out because there's already 98% on the timer. Skip ahead. And what ults do they have at the moment? They've probably got Zen ult, Bongo, probably Whole Hog, which doesn't mean much. The approach, I would tally. Yeah, I would definitely tally all of you up there to save us from getting hold hooked. But you could just slowly move in on the right. Unlucky he threw your shield out and then teleported. I think with moves like that, everyone needs to be on the same page because half of you, I think, weren't really paying attention. Maybe as like a main tank, you got to think about, always saying, what I'm doing. Teleporting, moving, and everyone can be like, yeah, okay, I'm coming. So even if you fuck up, then everyone else will fuck up with you. I would bongo here. Lucky fucking Reaper's already cleaned out. That was a good positioning from Reaper. He sort of W'd into them though. Infinity seems super proud of the fact that he's getting kills. Are you following along with the same? Yeah. So like the reason why these comps are so good, and because you guys were like toe to toe with them by running this, was that 100% is because it's so anti-skill. So like you don't have to be an awesome shot or like great at positioning or anything like that to make this work. And so like the difference between diamond players and grandmaster players is actually really small when you run this comp, because it's just barrier watch with May walls and Reaper Wing on people. It's fairly simple to run. Reaper's just fucking not too smart. Okay, he wants to get like there quick as. You're thinking W, let's crossfire. That wall isn't very good at all. Like in terms of May walls, it has to be like the first thing that comes up and before anyone else. Like May in this sort of scenario should be in front of everyone where Reaper is right now, actually. Just so that she can like take the initiative with a wall. Because I think in terms of abilities first, walls should always be first. So it should be wall already up. You could have cut this Roadhog off. So she should be the one peeking first. Just because May wall at a long range is super good. It's like it cuts. Like if you guys want to get as close as you can to it, May wall just gives you that ability without wasting any other resource. And then like even a May wall now, but like in the middle of them, not there. Because now you've put down your shield, so now you have to wait here for like 8 seconds or 9 seconds. So even if the wall comes up, then now what do? You just sort of you can't really make a decision to go to point because they can see point and you won't have a shield for another 6 seconds. So now you have to sort of wait around and there's no fighting going on. So in this circumstance, you all have to sort of wait around. Because if you made a decision to go right, then you'll get killed. If you make a decision to wrap around left, then you'll give away point. So it's sort of like I'll just sit and wait. And then you call, okay, let's go. I've got shield. Beautiful, Zuck. Unlucky that you focused on the Zuck and didn't put down the shield. Infinity's just fucking not listening and he's on his own. Yeah. So you got point, but I really don't think point was the go. So with this sort of comp, I almost press tab to view what characters we've got. Because we've got May Reaper. If you choose point, then you have to make a long range engagement battle. And they've got a Hanzo. if you want to ever win that, even though like you did in theory get point, I don't think you'll keep it for very long because you'll all just get decimated. It'd be better off just because you've got Reaper to W in as a team and deal with the enemy team and then move to point. Because you'd be so much more threatening than just taking 10% on a point than actually just taking it. That's such a good Zuck. Yeah, if you could like, I don't know, it might be hard with that positioning in the Hanzo. That's pretty good positioning. Maybe with like a wall, you could make it work. Where you wall off Hanzo and then you all come in. Because Hanzo's in all of our Orisa comps, when we're running Orisa, Hanzo is the thing we need to be dealing with, and Junkrat. So it really walling off using I know Apollo's dead, but you'd be using the Sigma shield as well to the same thing. So instead of rotating to point, I would just put up a fucking wall and then walk into them, see if you can kill them, because Reaper's already balls deep and might be winning. Obviously, Ana can stay on point if she needs to, if she thinks she can get away with it. Because yeah, let's see how much percentage you get out of that. Oh, you actually stay alive for fairly long. Not a bad stall from Asa. At this point, that's actually not bad because you guys are coming back with a good saga. But yeah, usually I would recommend killing them first. I think it's their own blunder that they didn't come and kill you guys. Yeah, again, the Hanzo is just the biggest threat. I just realized I'm stopping starting a lot, and that's fucking up your your thing. I'll just let it play without stopping and starting. I'll try to like explain it as I go. So we call D.Va. So I don't recommend D.Va because Sigma works way better than D.Va in terms of cutting off sightlines and dealing with Hanzo. You only temporarily want to cut them out for rotations. As far as D.Va usage, I would recommend using it more for like Widow Fire stuff. I wouldn't push it for Orisa D.Va. It's definitely not as strong. Though Apollo's D.Va is good. I think his Sigma is even better. Not a good wall. Good call for not going under. You would have been fucking dead. Oh, unlucky with the Zuck. That sucks. I see what else was trying to do though, like cut the tanks off. That's not a very good May ult though. Oh, and then you get killed. That's actually terrible. Infinity just W's into him and gets ult. So Infinity's got the right idea with like what he should be doing in this comp at this map. He seems to be Wing in, but he's not getting as much support in Wing in. Really, I'd like to see Arsa work with that and D.Va work with that if you're running D.Va. That's way too W. You don't need to be that far out. That's a huge throw. You don't play like that. No. Unless you're memeing. Conditions trying to battle 1v1. Yeah, that's a good wall. A bit slow on the rotation. Oh, that. Oh. Now, at this point, you should all be thinking, okay, then look at 90%. You all need to move quickly, swapping to ball even on Apollo, because at this point, it's all do or die. And if one of you gets picked off early from Hanzo, then you usually lose the next fight. Infinity gets a really good Death Blossom in front of Zenyatta. Zenyatta was way out of position on the enemy team. Heaps of excitement. So I'm thinking that the reason why you guys worked so well together on those first two maps was because you played against, or you played the comp to its strengths really well, where like you really wanted to be in their face, just unable to give them any room. And the room that they did get, they died before they could get anywhere. That's a lot of Death Blossom kills. Let's go to next. I'm about 15-25. Liberal government. It's 1536, 7. Yeah. Alright, the comp here isn't ideal. That's with Reaper's short range. When this is a much more open map, you have to be playing with hit scan or with Hanzo, something where you're threatening them at a long range, or at least a medium to long range, because at the moment this is the same thing. This comp only works in an indoors close quarters map like the last two maps you just played. So in terms of how this is effective, you're not going to be able to make it work unless you're really smart with your teleporter. Maybe you run Lucio and get close to them. Like, this bunker down strategy isn't going to favor a Farah, a Winston, a Ball even would probably fuck his up, I reckon, against this sort of comp. Just any sort of cleave, CC, mobility, because of the wide open area, you'll be fucked on from every angle. So really, this talking is really messing with the whole gist of things. We're at 1602 now. So yeah, Reaper was something you should have dropped by then. Everything else is fine. You just need to cover it with someone that knows how to counter the threats like Doomfist, Genji. Because I think ultimately Nanoblade fucks you over. Us is still worried about TP positions. In a game, don't worry too much about like those sort of things if you haven't already done them in a practice scrim. If it's a real game, then just do what you know. So Infinity decides to go Widow, which doesn't help your team against Genji. So Nanoblade will still destroy your team because all you've got is Invuln field to save you. Because as much as Widow seems like a bad threat, as long as everyone's not playing in a silly positioning, Widow's not actually that bad. Hanzo's a good pick, but it's against Nanoblade. You got to really be thinking whenever you see Ana, Genji, what are you going to do about Nanoblade? Because it's a big fucking thing to think about. Even if they lose every fight, the Nanoblade will win. It's more powerful than people seem to realize. especially at this level of play. Nano Blade from good Genjis. Nice tracking on the Mercy. Good callouts. I think in terms of every call out in all these games, you guys are polishing the callouts better and better. Yeah, strategic wise, you guys are still not thinking for yourselves as well, but and like alt management wise and alt tracking wise, still needs to be work done. But callouts, fantastic. Okay, there's the Nano Blade. It's a interesting wall. That's not too bad, but they've got dives, so you should really put it on your team, not on the enemies, because they're going to move towards you. I would have used Apollo's ult to stop Nano Blade. I would have just made him say, and think about it, like, I'm going to save this for Nano Blade. And then, like, as soon as he Nano Blades and then dashes, then you just unleash it on your own team. Nice shooting, Dex. Good use of just, like, scouting while teleporting up there. Alright, that Arna got a cheeky side on you there. I would have definitely pulled her out, because she's, like, the reason why you're losing this fight. Enemy Ana just peeled forwards and then glassed. Being able to find that the Ana's going to do a cheeky sleep or cheeky grenade, and then picking on that, maybe using Holt to pull her behind cover so she wastes it against the shield. Something to consider. I'm honestly not a big fan of airsing to escape, because usually you'll die slower, and so you won't reform as a team as quick. But sometimes it works out, because the enemy team follow you all the way back into your spawn, and then you end up baiting them out and killing them. But it's sort of a fine line to run. You got to really know how to run it. It's just chaos at this point. They're still picking on us and rolling us without any team fights being put forward, and they're getting free push. I think a lot of that staggered is from the fact that you haven't regained as a team yet, and that we're slow to regain as a team, and we keep getting picked off like that. Now the next thing will be a Nano Blade, because they've built it up and they just want to finish off the game with it. Fuck, that was a really good rock throw. That would have been the end of the game if that Genji had done that. You wouldn't have been able to recover, I reckon. But now you're able to actually get this team fight in. Pulling all into Apollo. Not a bad idea, because he is a fragger sometimes. Did win the fight, absolutely. And Apollo got a D-Mech as well, which is huge. Now you should really be thinking about what they're swapping to, because they won't keep running the same comp at this point when they've failed the push. Yeah, so they swapped to McCree. They're keeping the same dive mechanic. I would pull Monkey as best you can. I would ignore that dragon. That wasn't a good dragon at all. Yeah, that Monkey got so much value for his team. Really, Infinity wasn't focusing that Monkey at all that whole time. And his job is to stop that sort of thing, where as a DPS player, you need to be onto the fact that something will abuse all the rest of your team if you don't end up picking on them. Really, McCree would have saved the day for your team there. Unlucky. Early on, the Widow was getting too much done. Not at all. That was not a problem from what I saw. The Widow really just opened up on the first point and like on one kill, I think. Maybe some good shots, but really Ana and Winston was what done you in. Asses on Hanzo. Oh, okay, I get it. You want to do double hit scan. That's not going to work if you double hit scan. Because the rest of your team aren't mobile. It only works if your team is able to be up in their face while the rest of your team is mobile. Okay, so you're teleporting to get into them. Your team wasn't paying any attention, so now you have to teleport across. So now you want to take a melee engagement. There's crossfire, which is good. At this point, you've lost the crossfire. And now at this point, there's nothing more you can do with the heroes you've got behind you. Because you're, off tanks down the bottom. Most of your damage is coming from Arsa, and that's it. Oh, don't teleport in there. That was a silly move. Yeah. If you, I wouldn't teleport into into two tanks. Yeah, no. Infinity's opening up for the team. That's great. No countdown. You should have counted that down. Because he might have had Doom ult and could have just fucked his. Where's the team? Everyone's split. So this is the problem with working with like slow tanks and like double snipers, is that if they've got dive, the usefulness of the double snipers is in question. And then the slow tanks are just like fucking turtling on the cart and they've got no damage, so they just die slowly. Infinity's still getting taken away the Widow. Really, all you need is Infinity off the Widow, and you need Hanzo to be something else, and you need to deal with the dive that's happening. Widow's not going to get much value from a Sigma, because you just throw Sigma shield at Widow, and she's fucking useless. What can she do? She has to change position every time you do it. Which I haven't really honed into Apollo yet, that he's like a counter to most snipers and sniper comps. So look at how much they're like diving us. And you can tell, you can feel it, that you've got no defensive capability. and all they're doing is just Wing into you. So you can either take the fight to them, or you can. Yeah, okay, so you've swapped to McCree. You've still got the Widow though. You either need to absolutely pop on Widow. Now, as far as movement goes, you're turtling very slowly because you got no Lucio, no teleport. So you have to take a high ground because you've got hit scan, or you could take the little room in the middle. You're alone. No one's using you. That was a really good pull up in the air. Anna's so low. Oh, that sucks. As McCree, he really should have been focusing on that Doom. He probably was and probably did try, but couldn't make it work. Because if you're thinking in terms of like, oh, I need to pick a hero that counters their hero, you need to outplay that hero. And if you think you can't outplay that hero, you need to think of another way around it. Because if you go, okay, that's a good Doomfist. So I'm gonna need to counter Doomfist. So if you think to yourself, well, can I outplay that Doomfist on McCree? And if you can't do it, don't pick it. And then just go like anti-skill heroes and just like make it hard for him to use any of his kit. Push him around, stun lock him, Brigitte bash him, sleep him, hook him. Still on 30-01, I'm not skipping ahead. Oh, then again, I should. It's a bit of a wait. Hang on, I'll listen to this. So he's calling for Ryan Zaya. He's worried that because of the dive bunker thing that we should go Ryan Zaya. Really all you need is like your DPS to be in the same category as your tanks and work the same way. Because currently you've got your tanks playing a slow push. You've got your supports playing a turtle style with like an aggressive Ana nade strategy, and then your DPS playing sniper. It's so weird. You got no defense from. Is Splash vaping? Is that a vape? Same problem. You've turtled 5 of you. 1 of you's long range, but in terms of any stun abilities, you've got sleep, halt, rock. That's it. If they decide to run any sort of dive, And the problem is, even if they run the thing that your comp is meant to counter, which is bunker, dive, and all of the comps, then the problem is like Widow won't be able to shoot through a shield, so she's not gonna help you. You're all very spread. What's going on? So really your only hope is the 2 tanks and a healer. That's rough. Right now I would expect May to be a huge favour for you guys instead of Widow. Widow's not going to get any value from this. And vice versa. If they choose Widow, what value can they get from you? You just got Sigma. Just shoot Sigma barrier at them. That's a good shield. They're doubling through all your barriers. Yeah. You're lucky they didn't go dive. Hanzo's being so good with his positioning right now on the enemy team. Apollo's in a smart spot, but unfortunate that Hanzo's not being contested. It really should be Apollo's job. Everyone's talking about Hanzo, but no one's dealing with it. Fantastic turret placement from Hasa. Completely fucked them over when they started to move on top of you. I'd still recommend Infinity at this point to swap. He's not going to help. He should be looking at his enemy team and going, okay, they got a Hanzo and they got so much shields, I can't get kills. I'll be really surprised if he gets kills on this because this is really hard to shoot against this comp. It's like running Widow into goats. It's so hard. Oh, huge. Bongo, I'd throw Bongo into that for sure. Don't know about that barrier. Again, barriers should be used to like if their objective is to get close to you, barrier should be on your team. If their objective is to shoot you from afar, barrier should be on them. I like to think of it as like a big Reinhardt, and you're like, where would it benefit my team if the big Reinhardt was there or here? You're missing one. Luckily, they're not making use of it. They could have W'd on yous, but I think you would have been okay because you had quite a lot of healing. Called for Widow behind. Splash gets annihilated. They're making use of that. Affinity should be breaking the barrier for Reinhardt. Unlucky he didn't figure out his tele thing. That was well played by Cambitions. Completely taking out their main tank. That's awesome. Now they're running Widow. So they're double sniper and they're pushing in with Reinzaya. Reinzaya is just a pressure that they want to put on you as a bunker comp. And because your bunker comp has no Mei, then you can't stop them from dubbing into you at all. Hammer down. Zay's going to fuck your team up. It was probably best that Infinity did jump off the edge. All right. I'll pause the video when you bring up tab in a second. Nope, I missed it. All right, so what would you do to counter them? Just think like you got all the time in the world to think about it, and you've got hindsight of knowing like what's important to deal with and what's not important. What would you pick? It's not a bad option, yeah. You could run like double sniper dive and would counter it. You could run see, yeah, I would swap Sim because Sim has no long range capability and they don't need to get close to your team. The only thing that Sim's dealing with right now is Reinhardt and Zaya. Because yeah, you could counterplay and go, okay, well, I'll trap your main tanks, so your main tanks have no pressure on us, and doesn't matter if you can snipe us from afar because you can't push the cart, and so you pick May and then you wall the Zaya Ryan, and then just fucking turn on them, and then then what do they do? Okay, sure, they'll take out your back line or something. Yeah, okay, then what? Like, being able to push the card has suddenly become like impossible for them because they'll like decide to go, okay, well, we need to push cart, and so like Lucio hops in the cart, Ana hops in the cart. Okay, you're still there because you just killed Ryan Zaya. Okay, we'll kill them now. Then like fucking Widow Hanzo sit up the top and go, I'll go back because I have to wait for my tanks. It's really beneficial to think of it like in the 2-2-2 meta that there's big threats and then pressure, payload pressure threat, or I was trying to think of a good way to put it. I'll put up Notepad. you won't be able to see it, but the recording shows it. It's a Notepad. So we go like tanks as one pressure to think about, and then there's like DPS, and really healers provide only the backbone for both in an ideal comp. The tank pressure is usually devoted to payload presence and usually pressure in general, whether or not that's for pressure on the DPS, pressure on the healers, pressure on space in general, or just the other tanks. They're just the pressure. Once you take them away, there's no pressure in the fight at all. You just turn the fight into like a fucking an easy win. And then the DPS pressure is usually just like this kind of, I like to think of it as the wild card of things where like in general they don't pressure anything, but they can be there and then make you think that they're the most important thing in the world. Like you run pharmacy and suddenly Fire is all that Ana in the back can think about because Ana's suddenly worried at all moments, or Zen or something. There's just always worried that there's going to be a Fire just fucking shooting on the top of his head. But in reality, like the pressure that makes doesn't have any bearing to winning the point. It wins the fights. It doesn't win the point. So like you need payload presence and pressure to win games. If you think solely in binary, like, okay, I need DPS heroes that win games for me because kills win games, then sure, you get a super bloody good DPS player and they'll carry your team and win games. But if you're thinking in that way, then you're losing games in general because you're relying on something that might not exist, or just be like, it just doesn't really happen all the time. Because a player that's really good can't be really good all the time. Really they need other members to support them to be better. So if you want to cut down a team and take away their ability to push card or to be a presence, then you need to be thinking about, how am I going to deal with what's happening directly in front of my tank's line? Because if you take away the Ryan Zaya, then it doesn't matter what else they're running, it stops being important, because you can't win a game with 4 people. And you certainly can't push a payload with just healers and DPS players, because on defense that works. You shoot from all angles, and they have to be on that payload, right? Because otherwise the payload doesn't move. And since you're stuck to that point, someone has to be there. Usually it's a tank, because they've got the ability to have a shield and have a huge health pool. But if that can't be the tank, and it has to be the DPS or the healers on the payload, then they're fucking useless, because they're no longer in like amazing positions to make value out of Hanzo or Widow, or like they can't be what they're trying to accomplish. And as a healer, you really don't want to be on the payload unless you have to. It's certainly easy to deal with. Anyway, we're about 38-14. Unfortunate, not enough conversation on what ults they had there. Because of the positioning you guys were in, and they had the 2 high grounds on left and right, you guys were so easy to kill. It was either you dealt with the threat in front of you, and doesn't matter if they killed you or not, or you just fucking changed comp and be a real pressure. You just tickled that Widow. That sucks. You're like, tee. Because really, I don't think they're that, amazing skilled. I think they're good, but I don't think they're amazing. Like, they're not absolutely carrying their team with their ability. Each one of them seems to have a general skill. I think at the moment, though, that their team comp and their awareness against what worked against our comp was so much stronger. Because all they had to do was put you in a corner. Now on attack, you sort of start to wonder like what the calls were here. If they're playing Ryan and they're not more mobile, I'm not sure if Sim would work. No, I think Sim would work against Ryan, but only Ryan. I mean, it's this big fuck off laser. I mean, how isn't that a problem for a Reinhardt? I don't know about you, but it just seems like the worst thing to deal with Ryan. because your only defense powers are up. It sucks that Ryan Zaya isn't in the meta because you're a good Reinhardt player. Zaya's, I mean, fucking Apollo's a good Zaya main. I would 100% be talking about the game right now, not what fucking Infinity has to do. Infinity's not paying attention either. You need a Lucio, and you just saw they've got a Mei. So they're running Mei Hog. Fuck me, you definitely 100% need a Mei on your side right now. I just paused again, I'm sorry. So now, because you're like in this weird fast slow thing, your job as a Reinhardt is going to be so awkward versus them. Your team has like shield burst potential, but your job at the moment as Reinhardt is just Orisa. So you're going to be just using shield the whole game by the look of it. This is a bad spot. You're just in a corner. They can walk in and kill you if they want right now. Well, they don't even have to. They're just killing you, right? Yes. That's fucked. Everyone's panicking. Maze is such a good spot. They're fucking you guys over. Oh. Can be a heart attack. Oh, you're low health. It's okay. You're playing your health bar really well. You're like giving presents, making it look like as though you're a dangerous hero when you're really low. Oh. you probably you probably like won that just by being threatening, even though like you had 100 HP. if they had not known that, if they had talked about the fact that Ryan was low, they would have actually fucked you guys over. They really fucked that up. Like they could have made so much with. What the? Hang on. I have sonar. I have sonar on me. Can I walk away from you guys? What are you doing? What are you there? You fucking. What are you doing? You're gonna die. They know you. They know you're alone. You have sonar on you. Like, lol. What? Oh, sorry. Did it again. 2-7. 3-4-3-3-3 now. Now they got Genji. A really good Genji by the looks of it. Those are some really good dash resets. Infinity's job right now, his only job is to fuck with that Genji. I would have put Asa back on Symmetra and be a pain in the ass for Genji as much as possible. Put like turrets down all behind you. And just whenever he decided to get any value, he'd just be lasered. Everything else in this comp is fine because you've made them run Ryan Zaya, even though they didn't have to. Oh, you're fucked. Oh, good block. That was Pog. Okay, Infinity called that he's got High Noon. And you got like 6 ults on your team. Let me guess, they got Nano Blade already though. Yeah. Because he looks like he's getting heaps of charge. I would save Electric Cowboy, as he's calling it. I'd save High Noon for Genji. There it is. Yeah, your team's dead. Yeah, he's a good Genji. You could even shatter against that Nano Genji. And they've saved their ults really well too. They've got Grave Dragon. Yeah. Oh, you're tunneling yourself a bit. Okay, lucky they're not on the other side of that wall. Oh, unlucky. I see what you were trying there. Good charge. Nice kill. All right, you won your team the next fight. You should be just saying next fight, next fight. I got 2 kills. Look how quickly that Genji's cleaning up. Now Apollo's high charge and altered. Okay, Infinity realized that they're down. That's good. Hanzo's getting free stuff because there's none of you can deal with him. If he stayed up there, he would have just kept getting kills. He's probably got. Yeah, no one talked about the Baptiste. That sucks. Okay, you're the only one that died, which is okay, but no one's talking about that either. You shouldn't W in without a Reinhardt in this comp. Because they got Hanzo. Good call outs. Everyone's shot calling. That's good. Okay, next they've got probably Genji Blade again. Just as a thought, they probably got Square. They definitely got Square. They used Invuln. Okay, good. They're calling that. Nice kill. Nice block. Fucking fat block. Nice. Oh. Okay, good. Everyone left him. Beautiful. Oh, nice. Nice. Get fucked. Oh, you're dead. Yeah. Yeah, really, they can go whenever you get there. Because you want to get there slowly because they've got the initiative on the spawns. What? Okay, he's got high noon. He should be using his high noon, or he should be talking about it. Yeah. Splash didn't halt. There was no Zen ult there. Oh well. I don't think you can touch. Oh no, you will be able to touch. They'll probably be in front of the payload. No, they're giving you the room. Okay. Okay, good. Ult tracking of the enemy. Yeah, you need to be taking the next corner. Yep, that's it. Trace has fucked you all up. Oh, Infinity took the payload like a dunce. He could have just stayed behind you there. It would have been fine. He just like hops up onto the high ground. Hey guys, it's me. We can still lose one more. Lol. Let's see this guy. He's pretty quick. Oh, that was nice. Definitely wasn't perfect, but it was fucking good. Better than I. This is the scuffed bit, isn't it? What's the next one? Gibraltar? Voskaya, right. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Lol. Alright, let's skip ahead, I think. About 43.15. 53.15, yeah. We're about 20 now. May Reaper. Okay, you got no hit scan if they run Fire, if they run Ball, if they run Winston, if they run. Oh no, Winston be fine. If they run Lucio. If they just play sniper, double sniper, you're fucked against that team. If they just play Doomfist, Farah, if they play Widow, if they play Hanzo, if they play, I normally say Sigma can counter, but I believe they've got Sigma can't counter all of them at once. Because you have to play defensively right now, and so you need to let them walk into you, but they don't need to walk into you. They could just walk around you. D.Va, Genji, you're fucked. Okay, you can pick on Ball at least. Yeah, sweet. I would back up into that room. Like, back up into that room because the open air is going to get you fucked. Oh, you got booped out. That sucks. Because like that little window there is so good for you guys to sit in that small room. Because you had May wall, you could have just like had May just touch cart. You might have won fight there if you let them come to you in that little room. So now they've charged Nano Blade. What do you have to do to counter your Nano Blade here? Currently Reaper's not going to help you. I really need a McCree. Like, desperately need a McCree. The Barrage as well. You guys, at least you got a D.Va. Oh, good call out on pressuring the D.Va to make her use her ability. Nice hold. You should have shifted, but you're probably too focused on halting him. They played that textbook. That's rough. They were very smart with that pick. They knew you guys played that all night, and so they just, because they knew that like the fact that you didn't play enough McCree or like a powerful Hanzo or something where you could like stop them from being that aggressive in the air or that aggressive at dive. So they just decide, okay, well, we'll just run sort of aggro dive and you guys will lose every time. Their aggro dive is way stronger than their meta comp. So they were lucky that we didn't make them play into it. Are we really attack Bastion? What a lemon. Junkrat. Roadhog. You want to run at them? Okay, good. At least someone told Lemon that he's like, no, this isn't a run at them comp. McCree would be much better. At the very least. Junkrat, no. They'll if the rest of the games were telling you anything, it was that they were running like away from playing bunker. So Junkrat's not going to be helpful. I mean, it might be worthwhile when they dive you. I mean, you don't have Sigma to deal with that. Roadhog is far in. Okay, now everyone's right-hand side. No one talked about which direction you were going to go before you went there. I guess everyone's too worried about the comp and what to do. Doomfist is coming. I would have just walked behind that wall, deal with everyone diving on you, and not LOS'd that Widow. Make them come to you if you've got this kind of comp. Yeah, Lemon's job in this comp is weird. So he wants you to speed to point or speed on top of the enemy when you don't have much usability at that point. Okay, so he wants to disrupt. That's all right, I guess, but there's stronger ways to be a part of the team and not put so much pressure on your main healer. Oh, Apollo's in. Ooh. Ooh, why is everyone moving through LOS without any shields? Hanzo's gonna get fucked. Okay, you're in a good spot. This is great. They're not committing to this because we're all in here. You just need kills, and they're smart enough to not come in there. Okay, now we're chasing the kills instead of letting them come to us. Good. We got 2. We need to just... There's no shot calling happening. Everyone's shooting everything. Really, you just need to be shooting that Winston. He's just 2 healers and a Orisa. There's nothing you can do at the moment. There's no reason for you to be here. Against this comp, I would just... Because like obviously you get to choose because you're on attack, and they're stuck with that comp. I'll just go full stun, cleave, work with whatever's diving you, and then move out of LOS of the Widow while you're doing it. Deal with those targets, then deal with Widow. So yeah, a Sombra's not a bad idea. You could go up behind Widow, hack Widow, be a pain in the ass to Widow, force her to just look at Sombra. You could be with your team, you could be hacking whoever's diving, like Doomfist, and just fucking up his day. That was a really good jump. Ooh. Some decent shooting from Widow. I don't believe that for a second. Like, it's not to be expected. You're I have a feeling like as though if like we were playing properly with like the comp, we would have taken them to the ropes, I reckon. Hmm. Yeah. So general, general, I think gist of this whole thing was why it worked so well in the start, and then why it started falling apart is because they recognized an opening and they just fucking went all in on it. It was the same thing the whole way through, really. It looked like as though they were changing comps and stuff, like with Ryan Zaya, with the ball, with the Winston, and all this sort of stuff, and the Diva. But in reality, it was as simple as we bunkered down, 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 but we didn't play properly with the bunkered down strategy. They just worked around us, and to negate that, we just needed to play with what they were doing and cover that. So we needed either something to stun and shoot from long range at any target that wanted to jump us, McCree, yeah, and fill in that gap in our bunker comp, or we had to change the bunker comp and play in a totally different way. You can't just expect bunker to work in every scenario because it won't. You can sort of throw a Lucio, throw a sim teleporter and stuff, and make them this mobile thing, but in most cases, it's going to lose out compared to other comps. The reason why we make it work so well and why we've made it work so well is because we just try to cover all bases, abuse the fact that having double shields is really strong with like one big permanent shield and then like this really maneuverable shield that can really counter most flank angles, and then have this big turtle mode thing with sim damaging right in the center, so anything gets near us gets fucking melted down, and then having sigma balls and stuff, ligma balls in the middle, and really the McCree is the icing on the cake because anything that actually gets near us, we can stop them. Because if they get near us, use an ability, then escape, we're fucked. If they fly above us and we can't react properly, then we're fucked because we got no long range unless we run that McCree. I think something, you know, because in that circumstance it's okay. And then in other circumstances where we decided, okay, we'll run a different strategy, we'll run Ryan Zaya, and then we'll walk into them. You tried to run Ryan Zaya and double sniper, which is what they ran to us on attack. But the reason that only works is because your two snipers have to make the opportunity work. So the Ryan Zaya comes in, cleaves in, but doesn't do any actual work because how could you? There's no one helping you. And then is just this big fucking presence on the payload. Whereas the people picking off the team is those two snipers from a distance. And the tanks in front create all the openings they ever needed. But if that's not working and you're not making the two snipers actually get anything done and the tanks are just dying before anything happens, then that sort of scenario is never going to work. You need to have an actual idea of what you want out of what you're doing. And it's very, very important to know that. Otherwise, you end up just sort of flailing about, and a team like that will make use of it. Any heckin' thoughts? Yeah, and easy. Mm, Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. It's all up. Yeah, it works well to default to something, and I agree. But it's like when you really need it to be on a certain map, then you have to tweak it a bit, and then that's when everyone like starts to panic. They start to go, well, this is a different map. We can't just run the same thing. And you're absolutely right. Like that May Reaper on the indoors map is super strong, but then as soon as you take it outdoors, it's not. It's really not. And sort of realizing that is part of learning about why we choose those heroes and why we play that way. Like if you recognize how Nepal is always so successful for us, then you start to realize, why is that comp so good? And then you start to realize, okay, we'll run it on everything. And then you start to run it on everything, and you go, oh, okay, this isn't working. What the fuck? You start to realize, that style is just useful in that way, and it's so positional, so map. It's all really up to where you are in the map, and on some points it's like, okay, this it starts off with this big open area, and then we go indoors, and then we go in an open area, and then we go indoors, like Junkertown or some shit. And it's like, okay, so what do we run? I could run this big open area comp, but then as soon as we go indoors, we're fucked. But the way to think about it is just deal with what's in front of you, and if you win the fight, you can steamroll, and it doesn't matter what the next thing is. You can you just try it with what you've got or switch. And if you steamroll them, then good on you. But if like it doesn't work and you fail that push, then you swap and you go, okay, we'll take the indoor comp. I really only think there's there's two kinds. There's like fucking massive outdoor sort of wide open area, and then there's fully indoor. That's like the Junkertown is like the massive open area one. The control center is like and the one in Nepal. What's that? What's that one called? Sanctuary. Yeah, or Sanctum, I think it's called. Yeah, like Sanctum is like so indoors, like the most indoors, and it makes use of that booping mechanic from Lucio and stuff. So really, the tweaking happens at if you want to have a really nice and simple comp that has one like main idea, and then it has like a bunch of branching like things you can do, like, okay, well, we can May wall them, and then our ults, we'll put them together, we can combo them by like fucking splitting them in half and then doing this and that. If you think about it, like, let's make a simple bloody comp and then have one variation, which is like we have a Reaper for our shotguns in close quarters, and then we change that up, and then we swap it to a long range thing so that we at least pressure them at long range. Okay, what if they dive us at long range? Because diving is so useful at long range. And if I need to explain to everyone like why is dive not good in a close quarters map, then like we can go over that. But you just add those little spices on top. You don't have to like worry too much about it. You pick an idea, and our idea is like, let's fucking turtle in and deal with whatever, lash out at whatever's coming at us. And then you go, okay, where are we? Are we outdoor or indoor? Okay, we need ranged, or okay, we don't need ranged. Or what's the team working really well with? Okay, they're working really well with dive. Okay, we need stun. Okay, they're working really well with bunker. Okay, we need barrier destruction. Okay, they're working really well with Wing into us with Reinhardt. Okay, we need Maywall, CC, or Doomfist Punch. You know, you just think of that style of way of comp. And the more you start thinking like that, and the more it like opens your brain up to like, oh, this is actually really simple. You just fucking start with an idea, add the little spices on top, and you've made it perfect comp against every map. You know, I try to like think up enough that works on everything, but it doesn't exactly work well. We try it out in scrims and we figure that out pretty quick. Like Li Zhang, we're still working on that because we're still pharmacy widow sometimes, you know. Like, and I don't mind it too much because it does tend to favor Faro pretty well, especially the meta at the moment with bunkering down and lashing out. You know, like our strategy is. But you know, Fire itself is limited to certain maps as well. She's one of those variables. Maybe we can have a discussion about this same thing we're talking about in general to everyone on a scrim day, and be like, really have a session about it, because everyone still doesn't understand the some do and in some ways, but I think the majority of us need to like start to really think about why we pick heroes. Anything else? All right, sweet. All good. GG, all ended.